How's everybody doing today? All right, awesome. So I am fired up. This is going to be an awesome session. My name is Katie Lance. I'm the founder and CEO of Katie Lance Consulting and the founder of the Get Social Smart Academy. And I'm thrilled to be here back in RE/MAX. For those of you who don't know me, I run a consulting firm in the San Francisco Bay Area. We work with a lot of brokerages, helping them get smarter about how to use social media. I'm also a keynote speaker. I've got a book coming out in a few weeks, which is exciting. And we're just thrilled to be here. RE/MAX R4 is one of my favorite conferences. I've been speaking at R4 for at least the last 3 or 4 years, and it is just an amazing event. So today we're going to talk about social media. We're going to talk about the science behind why someone shares something. So I want you to think about a moment, if you will. Think about the last time you clicked that share button on Facebook, or you reposted something on Instagram, or you retweeted something. I want you to think about why you shared it. Now, probably for a lot of you, you shared it because it was something funny or something really interesting, or you felt like, this made me look a little smarter by sharing it, or maybe it made you cry. There's a whole science behind why people share. So in 2017, it's not enough to think, should I be on Facebook, and what about Snapchat? Should I be on Periscope or live streaming or Twitter? It's really about what's your content strategy, what does it feel like to work with you? And it's not just content for the sake of content, but content that's going to get shared, that's going to get pushed out there in the social networks to get you more business at the end of the day. So this couldn't be a more perfect time to give this talk. Some of you may not have been watching TV last night because you were all out in Vegas, but something quite funny happened last night at the end of the Oscars. Right? A lot of you might have seen what happened. And if you missed it, just go on Facebook, because I think every one of my friends is talking about it on Facebook. But at the end of the Oscars last night, Warren Beatty read the wrong card for who was supposed to win Best Picture, right? Some of you probably saw this on the news or on Facebook. And so this tweet came out last night right after with the correct winner of who was supposed to win Best Picture of the Year. And if you've missed this video, just Google it. The little bit of awkwardness that happens at the end of the Oscars. It's never happened before at the Oscars. But I'm sharing this with you today because as I was watching this last night, I was doing some last-minute preparation for this talk, I saw a tweet come in, and I said, oh, this is perfect for my talk. So Miss Universe tweeted last night, have your people call our people. We know what to do. And if you remember the debacle that happened with Miss Universe a year or two ago with Steve Harvey reading the wrong name, et cetera, you get why this is funny. So this particular tweet, since I last checked about an hour or so ago, has been retweeted tens of thousands of times. And so when you think about why do people share something like this, it's because it's funny, because it's relevant, because it's really poignant, it's timely. And so today I'm going to share with you a little bit of the science behind why people share what they do, and then we're going to really kind of get into the nuts and bolts and teach you how to create some great content, whether it's blogging, video content, graphics, photos, and really how to create great content that's going to help you get more business in 2017. Sound good? Yes. All right, awesome. So first and foremost, if you've ever heard me speak before, you know I'm a huge believer in the value of being intentional. Right? Be intentional with what you're doing with social media. Stop the random acts of social media. And if you're tweeting, tweet that. Stop the random acts of social media. Now I get it, you're at a conference and you run into someone you hadn't seen before, or maybe an old friend, and you take out your phone and you do a quick selfie, and maybe that wasn't part of your overall strategy. But in general, having a strategy is what makes a huge difference. When I look at the people who are part of our Get Social Smart Academy, who are getting 70 to 80% of their business from social media, one of the #1 things that they're doing is they've got a strategy and they've got a plan. Because without a strategy, you're just throwing something against the wall and hoping it sticks. It's well, we'll try this Snapchat thing out for a day or two, we'll see if that works, which isn't really a strategy. So I want to share with you some interesting data around why people share. So there was a book that came out a few years ago. Matthew Lieberman, he is a psychologist with UCLA, and they did a whole study around the science of sharing, specifically with social media. It's a fascinating book. You can get it on Amazon. And he talks about what makes something shareable. And he says, people are regularly attuned to how the things they're seeing will be useful and interesting, not just to themselves, but to other people. So one of the reasons we click that share button isn't just because we think it's funny or interesting or poignant. We share it because we think others will think that same way. So if we think about what the content that we post when it comes to social media and real estate, when we post things like new listing, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, open Sunday 1 to 4, come on by, and we only get 2 people who like it, one is the client and one is your mom, and you wonder, why is no one sharing this? This is great. That's why, right? So we're going to talk about how to kind of reframe your content and how to be a little bit better of a storyteller to get those shares. The New York Times has also done some statistics and some reporting around social media and why we share. And there's a few things here up on your screen here. There's really kind of 5 things the New York Times found. They did a whole report on this a few years ago. Number 1, to bring valuable, entertaining content to others. Number 2, to define ourselves to others, right? To really share who we are. Number 3, to grow and nourish our relationships. Number 4, self-fulfillment, right? Makes us look good. And number 5, to get the word out about causes or brands, right? So if we're involved in something, maybe it's a cancer walk or something we're involved in with our schools, or we see somebody doing something really good for someone else, we're more inclined to share, which is why talking about what we do with our communities is so valuable, right? Because it's a way to talk about how much we love what we do, how much we care about our community without saying, hey, I'm number 1, call me today. Right? Another thing the New York Times talked about, 78% of people share information online because it helps them stay connected to people they may not otherwise stay in touch with. So I'm going to kind of take you on a journey. We're going to go through a few of the different social media platforms and give you some really tangible tips on how to do this. First, let's talk about Facebook. We can't talk about social media and not talk about Facebook. How many of you have a personal Facebook profile? Raise your hand. How many of you also have a business page? Raise your hand. How many of you are on Facebook right now? That's okay. All right, good. So Facebook is still the #1 social media platform. There's 1.79 billion people on Facebook. And mobile, we found, has really a core component. I want to share with you a few things that make a big difference with content. Some of you may have seen me share this before. This is what's called our content grid. Now I realize there's a lot of stuff up there, so don't feel like you have to write everything down. We have a link down at the bottom where you can actually, if you're on your phone right now, you can go to the link, katielance.com/content grid. So we've been creating a lot of content over the last 4 years. We have been doing a lot of content if you follow our blog. My story, by the way, for those of you who don't know, I used to previously work for Inman News. I was the chief strategist for Inman News. 4 years ago, started our own company, and we create a ton of content. And the way we think about content is that we create what we call pillar pieces of content. So pillar pieces of content are things that we invest time, money, and energy in. So they could be blog posts, they could be video content. Primarily, it's usually blog or video. But then this is where the magic happens. So we take that great piece of content, and then we slice and dice it, and repurpose it, and repackage it in a number of different ways. Now, we don't just take that one blog post and blast it everywhere, but we think about how can we take one blog post that turns into 7 or 8 Instagram posts over the course of 5 or 6 weeks? How can we turn it into 10 or 15 tweets over the course of a few weeks? How can we turn it into 6 or 7 Facebook posts over the course of 12 months? When you think about lead generation, creating content that's valuable can make a huge, huge difference. I want to give you a few tips here. So one of my favorite sort of secret tools in our stash, there's a great free tool out there it's called the Headline Analyzer. And there's a link right up here at the top. If you go to coschedule.com/headline-analyzer, this is a free tool, and I love this tool. Graphics are also a huge thing that we do. A lot of you have probably heard of Canva, canva.com, not a new tool, but if you haven't checked out Canva, it's a great resource to be able to create great graphics for Instagram, for even Facebook ads. We create all of our Facebook ads graphics through Canva. There's even print templates, so if you want to create flyers, there's some great templates within Canva. There's a free version as well as a paid version. We do use the paid version because you can actually add in your logo and your colors. Makes it really easy to create graphics simply and easily. Video is not a new conversation, right? I mean, every time I come to the RE/MAX convention, there's always somebody talking about video. And I could probably guess how some of you feel about video. Some of you might be all in, you're like, I got it, I'm all over it, I got a videographer, I got the equipment, no need to talk to me about it. But there's probably the majority of you who, like me, are like, I don't like how I look, I don't like how I sound, I'm not sure how to edit it, so then we don't do it. And in 2017, Mark Zuckerberg actually recently said, we're living in the golden age of video. And so if there was ever a time to just bite the bullet and get over how we look and how we sound, because guess what, that's actually how we look and how we sound, it's now. Just in the last 7 or 8 weeks, if you're wondering, well, how long does it take to get traction when you start to create content? I can't tell you how many people just in this conference that I've met in the last couple hours that have said to me, oh, I've been watching your videos. How's your series going? I love what you're doing. I see you everywhere. I feel like I know you, right? We also started creating content when I'm speaking. So you might have seen, we've got a few awesome people here who are recording us, who are helping to repurpose this content. The fact that I'm speaking here is a great piece of content, so to speak, but we're repurposing that and using that for another series. So my whole point in saying this is, as a real estate professional, it's so valuable to think about how you can create content with video, whether it's with your iPhone, whether it's with your laptop, or whether it's hiring a professional. A couple things that are happening with video. You might have noticed this specifically with Facebook. There's a new feature rolling out called the Watch and Scroll. Have you noticed this? You're watching a video, and by the way, if you're on Facebook, you'll notice that generally what Facebook loves to show you the most is videos, right? So you're on Facebook, and maybe you want to watch a video, but you want to keep scrolling. Well, you can do that now on Facebook. So you're watching a video, you can actually tap that video with your thumb, move it over to the corner, it'll still keep playing in the corner, and then you can keep scrolling through your news feed. So really powerful. Another reason to think about creating that video content. Now the other thing when it comes to video content is most people on Facebook watch video with the sound off. There's probably some of you right now, as I'm talking, that are watching a video with the sound off, and you're reading subtitles. In fact, 80% of people watch videos on Facebook with the sound off. So I want to give you a great resource. We started using a site pretty recently this year called Rev.com. Rev.com is a fantastic tool, and what it will allow you to do is take your video, you upload it to Rev.com, and you pay $1 a minute for a subtitle file. Another way to create video, some of you may not realize this, on your Facebook business page, you can actually create video out of photos. Go into Facebook, create a slideshow. You can pick up to 7 of your best photos. You can pick music that's royalty-free. You can pick a few little transitions, and within a minute or two, you've created a great piece of video content that you can put up on to your Facebook business page. Video typically is one of the most shareable items on social media. Why I think Facebook Live is so amazing for agents and brokers is because it is live, because it is in the moment. And when it comes to video, as much as we can say, oh, just get over the fact your hair and your makeup and how you sound and how you look, what's great about Facebook Live is that it doesn't have to be perfect. So yes, you could do a Facebook Live of an open house, kind of a sneak peek behind the scenes with the permission of your clients, of course. And that we're seeing a lot of agents and brokers do. But we're also seeing the agents who are getting business from Facebook Live committing to creating regular content. So whether it's once a week, maybe it's every Friday, maybe it's Wind Down Wednesday, whatever it might be, where you're taking 5 or 10 minutes and you're answering questions, you're being a really valuable source of information. Now what's great is after you do a Facebook Live, it's live and in the moment, that piece of content stays on your business page or your group or your personal profile. Of course, if you think it's terrible, you can always delete it, but it does stay as a piece of content on your Facebook business page, and then you can actually do some boosting and some advertising around that. BeLive.tv, this is still in beta, so it's still pretty new, but this is a really kind of fun tool that we've been using to be able to broadcast live on our business page, and it allows you to do a few things. First of all, it allows you to broadcast horizontally. It also allows you to do a split screen broadcast. So maybe you feel like, okay, I don't know if I have enough to talk about for 5 minutes, but I could certainly maybe interview somebody else or have someone else on camera, maybe another agent, maybe my client, maybe my title person, my stager, my photographer, the cast of characters involved in every transaction. Maybe it's someone in my community, someone, a local business owner, and you do some sort of Q&A live broadcast. You can do that through BeLive.tv. This is a great tool, fairly new tool called Slidely. Slidely, so it's slide and then .ly. Some of you may have seen this. This is actually a video production tool. Ripple is a great tool to create video content. And you can, again, bring in photos right from your phone. You can add text over the photos, and it makes it into sort of a photo slideshow video, a GIF, so to speak. But Ripple is really, really fantastic. They're also doing a great job on social media. They are all over my news feed, so boost your social media. Now, the big question I usually get asked when it comes to content is what type of posts actually work best? Which ones get the most likes, comments, and shares? And so a big tip I'm going to give you, especially for those of you who have a Facebook business page, is to really look at your analytics, right? To really dive into your analytics. And what most people do when they look at their analytics is they don't necessarily look at all the numbers when it comes to what's getting the most shares. So what I would encourage you to do is go into your analytics on your business page, look at your insights, and then there's a button that says posts. So click that button that says posts, and you'll see all the posts, everything you've ever posted to your Facebook business page, but then you can actually sort it by engagement. So you can sort it by likes, comments, and clicks. And then you can post more of what works and less of what doesn't work. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Instagram and then Snapchat. So we talked a lot about Facebook. Facebook's still the #1 social media platform. Instagram is right behind it. Instagram is on its heels. Now, a lot of you know this, but Facebook acquired Instagram a few years ago for more than $1 billion before it had made any money at all. And Facebook is really fascinating, and actually Instagram is really fascinating. Instagram is really a couple different parts right now. There's actually 3 parts to Instagram right now. So the first is the regular Instagram news feed that probably a lot of you are familiar with, which is just photos and videos. The second part of Instagram is now Instagram Stories. And Instagram Stories allows you to take quick photos, quick videos, which last 24 hours. And I'm going to give you an example of my own Instagram story that some of you, if you're following me on Instagram, you may have seen. And then we have Instagram Live. And Instagram Live, as Instagram stands right now in 2017, when you broadcast on Instagram Live, when you're live, and when it's over, it just disappears. It's gone. And so we're finding that a lot of people who are wanting to kind of try out live streaming are kind of liking that feature with Instagram Live, that they can kind of try it out, see what that feels like, and then there's no pressure, because once it's done, it's done. The value of what we're seeing with Instagram Stories and Snapchat is that people are sharing the story behind the story. Because when you are your best authentic self, what will happen is some people will resonate with you and totally love you, and other people won't. And that's okay, right? We saw this a lot with politics, and some people feel very, polarized one way or the other. People ask me about this all the time. Should you post? Should you not post? And I always say it depends. It really depends. Now, that's a whole other conversation. We won't get too much into politics on stage. But being true to yourself, and I think using tools like Instagram Stories and Snapchat is really powerful. Because what happens is, again, you attract people that you most want to work with. And sometimes in real estate, when we think about content, we put content out there that's just really kind of vanilla and kind of generic and kind of relates to everybody. But sometimes when you relate to everybody, you're not relating to anybody. And so there's a lot of power in just thinking about who do you really want to work with? Who do you love working with? Right? Think about the last client you worked with. When they called, you just loved talking to them. Look at your life as content. As you're out and about and you see a beautiful front door or something amazing or something cool is going on, that might be an opportunity to share, right? And to create that piece of content. We may not have hundreds or thousands of people that we're following on Snapchat, but it's really fascinating to be able to see 10, 20, 30, those people. It's a smaller network. And there's something to be said about being connected to people on that smaller network. My contact information's up here. We'd love to connect with you. We have a ton of free resources on our website, katielance.com. We have a lot of our Academy members here as well. If you're curious about how to get smarter when it comes to social media, we don't do any one-on-one coaching, but I would love for you to check out our Academy at getsocialsmart.com. I'll be around right after here to answer any questions. We'll be right down here on the floor. If you want to come up, we'll be happy to chat with you. Thank you so much, everybody.